person sharing your bed right now? What if it looked exactly like them, but it wasn't? Hello everyone. If you're listening to this, I need you to ask yourself a question. The person you love the most in this world, the one you share a bed with, how would you feel if you suddenly realized the face looking back at you wasn't them, but a demonic entity mimicking their every move? My name is Mia. I was born and raised in California. My husband Tyler is from the Pacific Northwest. We had a beautiful wedding, and afterwards we spent a week at his family's massive older estate outside of Seattle. Everything was perfect, until we started packing to move into our new apartment downtown. While packing, I pulled out my custom, insanely expensive wedding dress. I froze. A massive section of the fabric was completely burnt to a crisp, as if someone had poured concentrated acid on it. I panicked and asked Tyler if he had spilled some kind of chemical, but he swore he hadn't touched it. I was devastated, but I just packed up the ruined dress and gave it to my younger sister, Chloe, telling her to salvage the lace for a future project. Little did I know, a terrifying secret was woven into that burnt fabric. We moved into our small, cozy apartment in downtown Seattle. Tyler worked only a few blocks away, so he'd often walk home for lunch. One afternoon, after we ate, Tyler kissed me goodbye and walked back to the office. I locked the apartment door and laid down in the bedroom to watch some YouTube. About 20 minutes later, I heard the front door unlock. I sat up and saw Tyler walk straight into the bedroom and sit on the edge of the bed. I was confused. "Forget something?" I asked. He didn't blink. He just stared at me with this dead, empty expression and said in a flat voice, "Get up. You've been sleeping all day. Go take a rest." The phrasing was bizarre, but I figured he was just stressed. I got up to make some coffee. I watched him grab a towel from the closet and walk into the bathroom, shutting the door behind him. I went to the kitchen, put the kettle on, and waited. After a few minutes, I realized there was no sound of running water. No shower, no sink. Dead silence. I walked up to the bathroom door. "Tyler, you okay?" No answer. My heart started to race. I grabbed the handle. It was unlocked. I swung the door open.
The bathroom was completely empty. My head spun. The apartment was a tiny one-bedroom. He couldn't have left without walking right past me in the kitchen. Trembling, I grabbed my phone and dialed Tyler's number.
He answered on the third ring. "Hey babe, what's up? I'm just walking into a meeting." The floor dropped out from under me. "You're lying," I sobbed. "You were just here. You walked into the bathroom." Tyler rushed home immediately, but he couldn't find anyone. He chalked it up to me being exhausted and having a waking nightmare, but the terror had just begun. A few nights later, around 2 a.m., I woke up to a freezing cold draft in our bedroom. The bathroom door was cracked open, letting a sliver of yellowish light into the room. Against that light, I saw a massive pitch-black shadow. It had the outline of a man, but it was just pure, inky void. It was crawling on the floor, slithering towards my side of the bed. I tried to scream, but my throat was paralyzed. The shadow crawled right up onto the bed and sat directly on my chest. The weight was crushing my ribs. It leaned in, having no face, but I heard a harsh, guttural voice whisper right into my ear. "Do you realize now that I am not your husband? Keep quiet. If you cause trouble, I'll make you suffer." It vanished into thin air, and my scream finally broke free, waking Tyler. We moved out shortly after, buying a larger house in the suburbs. I thought distance would save us. I was wrong. One night in the new house, while I was pregnant with our daughter Lily, I heard the front door open. Footsteps walked heavily into the living room. Thinking it was Tyler coming home late, I sat up. The bedroom door opened, and Tyler walked in. But his face was horribly distorted, his eyes glowing an unnatural, bloodshot red. He smiled this sick, demonic smile. "Did you think moving would leave me behind?" he sneered. "I am your shadow." He lunged at me, throwing me back onto the bed.
started praying at the top of my lungs, and he vanished.
When my sister Chloe came to visit after Lily was born, the entity mocked me. While Chloe was in the living room watching TV, the black smoke materialized on my chest again, smelling like rotting meat. It screamed Chloe's name, mocking me that she couldn't hear us. Desperate, I sought out a renowned demonologist. He told me a horrifying truth. Someone had placed a dark demonic hex on me to destroy my marriage. The demon's goal wasn't to kill me, it was to constantly mimic my husband, to breed deep psychological terror and hatred toward him, eventually driving us apart. I suddenly remembered my burned wedding dress. I called my sister Chloe. She told me that when she finally opened the plastic bag to get the dress, the fabric had completely turned to white ash, disintegrating the moment she touched it. There was no fire. The demonologist confirmed that an item of deeply personal clothing is often used to anchor these horrific curses. Someone at that estate in Seattle had hexed my wedding dress. To this day, my husband and I cannot sleep in the same bed. If we do, unseen hands violently shove me onto the floor. I live with this terror every day, surviving only through sheer willpower and faith, knowing that a monster wearing my husband's face is always lurking in the periphery of my life.